Hello friends, my name's Real Emile and welcome back to Forza Horizon 2. In today's video we have got the Hypercars Championship and we have my favourite of the Hypercars, and in fact one of my favourite cars in the world. We have the Koenigsegg Agera. Now why do I love the Koenigsegg Agera? Well, first of all, it looks absolutely superb. You know, it looks like a hypercar should, which is absolutely mental. Another thing I love about it is it has some crazy stats. For example, from stock, this car is slightly upgraded. It is at the top of S2 class. It starts, I believe, mid S2. It might even be an S1 car. Anyway, from standard, this car has 900 horsepower, which is an awful lot. And all that power goes through the rear wheels, because it's rear wheel drive. And that makes it awfully fun and slidey. This one has 1001 horsepower. Like I said, it's a little bit upgraded. It's got the race tyres on it because... Actually, no, it already comes with race tyres. It has the biggest tyre widths on it because this car needs huge tyre widths because it is quite uncontrollable, and that's why I love it. Second thing I love about this is the insane stats. Not 60 at least on this one, 2.8 seconds. I believe the real one's around the same. Top speed on this is 264. The real one, I've brought back the gearing a bit. The real one is 270, I believe. And if you switch it to four-wheel drive, it's changed now. Anyway, before it was doing, I think it was like 1.9 seconds or 1.8 seconds to 60, and that is absolutely insane. I love this car. It also comes in a fantastic colour, and compared to the rest of the hypercars, it is cheap, or at least fairly cheap. I believe it's about 900,000 credits, which, you know, for what this is pretty good. I do love the side profile, and the interior as well is superb. Right, let's go and do some racing in it. Now, to drive the car, like I said, is very oversteery, I find. This is mostly obviously because it is a rear-wheel drive hypercar with 900 horsepower. It's, what do you expect? It's going to be slidey. It's going to be very fun, shall we say. Anyway. Stats on it are fairly good. Braking's 10. The braking's good as it is on all hypercars, and so on. But the thing I love most about this car is, while, yeah, it does have some electronics on it, obviously, I believe they've done something with the turning so it can avoid stuff very quickly at like 100 miles an hour. There's some videos on it. And, sure, there is some technical parts about this. But unlike the rest of the hypercars, or at least most of the hypercars, which are around these days, this car does not feel like a 230 mile an hour laptop. For example, that McLaren P1 in front of me, it's a very cool car, do not get me wrong. The P1 is very clever, I do like it, but I don't love the P1 because it's too technical. It's, you know, it's got that hybrid system, and oh god, I can't drive this thing apparently. To be fair, I did get smacked in the back, I believe. You know, you're not supposed to crash in a Agera. It doesn't like off-roading, obviously. It's a hypercar. What do you expect? But it just, you know, the P1 is too technically advanced for my liking. The Noble M600, on the other hand, that isn't a technically advanced car. But I'm still not a huge fan of the Noble because it's not really that mental. It's got an engine from a Volvo XC90. LaFerrari, same thing, it's a hybrid motor. Sure, that car is a bit more mental than a McLaren, and I do like it a little bit more than the McLaren, I think. At least to look at, and as well the actual technicalities of it. Actually, no, I don't know. The McLaren's kind of a looking car, in a way. I'm just getting rammed left and right for some strange reason. Can you please stop? Your car is... I don't even... What is the AI on this game? They're just terrible. Maybe it's payback for all that ramming I did in the Horizon 1 Let's Play. Now, of course, now that I'm speaking about this sort of the laptop thing and all that, you may be saying, well, how about the Hennessy Venom? You know, that's 1200 horsepower, there's no assists in the Hennessy Venom, that's a custom-built Madman's car. Yeah, you're right, it is, but I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of the Venom. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's a bit too insane. But, I mean, to look at, it doesn't look particularly, you know, mental. It's basically a stretch Lotus. And as well, that car just cannot drive. It just seriously does just not have the gift of being able to go in any form of straight line. It is terrible to drive that car. But the Agera kind of has a good balance. It has, you know, it obviously has a lot of electronics, but they're all very useful and they don't take away from the driving experience. You know, if I was in, if I was in, say, a McLaren F1 or a Ferrari or so on, you know, I would feel like I am, you know, not really doing anything. I'm sort of, you know, just letting the car do its thing, and all I'm doing is smashing the throttle and occasionally telling it where to go. However, if I'm driving the Venom, I feel like I'm just being a little ringmaster, you know, and I'm not really going anywhere because I'm backwards at a gazillion miles an hour. But the Agera is, you know, a mix in between the two. Another thing I love about the Agera is the company that makes it, Koenigsegg. Koenigsegg are mentalists. They're up there in the hills of Sweden, and their goal is just to make very, very mental cars. Kind of want to do that one. I'm trying to think of places where this doesn't go on dirt, because it doesn't have a four-wheel drive system. But the company that makes it is mental. They're Swedish, and basically their first car, from what I remember, was the CC8S, which was a 242 miles an hour hypercar, which was, well, I think it might have actually been the fastest car in the world at one point. I'm not sure if it actually beat the F1 or not. I do know the Bugatti Veyron came on not long after it, so it kind of got beaten, but still. Then they made the CCX, which had a top speed of about 260, and was so mental, even the stick on Top Gear crashed it into a wall of tyres. Then, I believe what was after the CCX? I'm just going to say the Agera, because that's the only one I remember. Now, the Agera, this is my personal favourite. It's the best looking Koenigsegg. It's also the most mental that they had ever made. It's a seriously cool car, this. Then there was the Agera R, which was a slightly more mental version of the Agera. I'm saying the word mental a lot. And now they are bringing out the 1.1, which is a modified Agera, which has, the reason it's called the 1.1 is because it has a perfect power to weight ratio, as in it has 1341 horsepower and weighs 1341 kilograms. That's, yeah. I believe that thing is currently setting track records at places like Spa, because, yeah, it's a very quick car, this. And now we are getting, I can't remember what it's called. Is it the Regera? I want to call it the Regina, just because it makes me laugh, because that's the slow station wagon out of Grand Theft Auto. But the Regina has 1500 horsepower, and yeah, that's going to be coming very soon. I believe that's the Agera replacement. I am looking forward to driving that car, very much so. And, you know, a lot of auto manufacturers these days are going safe. You know, you got McLaren with all that hybrid technology and the 650S and the MP412C. Ferrari, they're going down sort of the turbocharged route. They've got the 488 and they're starting to care about fuel economy and, you know, all that jazz. But Koenigsegg are still mad. You know, they're still turning out these 1500 horsepower monsters. And yeah, that's exactly why I love Koenigsegg, and that's why I love the Koenigsegg Agera, even though we only got 4th in that race, because that was a hard race, and the AI appeared. To be fair, I know my driving wasn't particularly good, but the AI are beating it quite aggressive for some reason today. They clearly don't like Koenigsegg. But anyway, that is it for the Koenigsegg Agera, and that is it for the first part of the Hypercars Championship. Tomorrow we'll probably be driving one of the 230 mile an hour laptops I talked about. Anyway, friends, my name's been TheRealEmile, and until next time, farewell.